so you might
Right,
be
we
able-
better cancel this order before we leave.
So right here is telling me, on the veal patties, it's saying, the quantity requested exceeds the current, available, would you like the 17 cases we have?
So that's
But
like
then
17
usually it
inches.
says on here, I probably picked the wrong thing, veal patties aren't probably ordered by many of our customers, but it usually says expected on. So sometimes you can make the decision like, oh, well, I'll just put it on my Wednesday order, right?
But I think
Or-
the takeaway is how quickly you saw it came back immediately with those exceptions to clear, and if it's a sub or what have you, it really is that quick to modify, and I keep saying it's really kind of an Amazon experience, but that really is what the site resembles.
So if this said that it is coming in on February 28th, just maybe the truck hasn't came to us, you know, been put away. But if it says 2/28, would you like us to send, so you're getting answer on this, yes. Then it says about the substitute. I'm gonna say, I'm saying that that said February 28th, I would answer no, because I'm gonna wait on those 83 more
But if
cases.
they answer yes, then it would bring up a sub.
Right, subs, so I can, I'll put yes. So so I wanna see more chicken breast.
We're on veal though, right?
Oh,
Are we on chicken?
That's fine, I mean,
I
the
guess so.
example will be relevant.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think, I knew we were, payway to, and it gives
So
you
it just
options.
brings up a bunch of.
So those are the options you can select as an alternate product, and then you can choose which one. So I think that, that's the point, is you really are the driver's seat as to which ones you prefer.
And you can compare, remember how we had that thing where people.
But that asked me if I wanted the 17 cases that were available, but it gave me no idea of when there might be more.
No,
coming.
yeah, usually it said, did you see that part
Normally
where it
it'll have
says
a date.
expected? It usually
then
tells you what.
Everything
date.
is not technology, that's why we have the customer service rep, so in that case, you pick up the phone and you go, hey Nemo, when's the veal patties coming in? So you know what I mean, so there's still that personal.
So it's still, it's gonna do me one more time because it doesn't believe most
Did
people
you
would
intend
order
for 100
100
cases of this
veal
product?
patty.
Which is great, and those are safety nets we have in place,
And
because,
then I'm gonna say no, update quantity.
So maybe it was 10, right?
Yeah.
Was the-
yeah, and prior to this enhancement, you know, you can imagine how many 100 cases of veal round tripped on a truck, you know, and that's really why.
That's a problem for you and for us, right?
Sure.
Because once you send
Yeah.
something out on a truck all day and it comes back, 90 cases come back.
Hopefully the driver catches it before he starts to unload, right?
Right, and a lot of times he does, he'll come in with the invoice and say, hey, this doesn't look right, what do you think, and.
But it's to protect us too, because once something round trips all day on a truck, especially frozen or fresh, chances are we can't resell it.
So anything else on the site, just in respect of time, that you'd like to see, and then I'll just kind of jump into some of the questions that we might have.
And then I'm gonna hit cancel order.
Yeah,
That's
please
all
do.
me.
Yeah,
We'll get a phone call.
We don't want that phone call tomorrow.
So
We
a
got
couple,
100 cases of veal patties.
couple of things that I just kind of took away from your questions, and thank you for sharing them. Number 3, I think we didn't really address in the presentation, but one of the biggest challenges working with SFA consortium customers. You know, I think when Martha and I kind of review that, it's really kind of contract compliance. How do we help them really leverage the total value of the program? Because a lot of times that, you know, let's say as a consortium board, you decided to go with a particular GPO, and we know there's all this value out there, but everyone has real life jobs and everything going on in the world every day, and sometimes they have every best intent to embrace an opportunity, a CMA or a conversion or whatever. I think our biggest challenge is how do we keep it in front of the client, the customer, and really continuously make sure they're realizing the full value of the program. And I think the biggest things that we do to support that is, again, team meetings. The Premier is an example, region meetings to really leverage them, and then for Martha and the team to bring those things to the consortium, you know, attention. What do you see the greatest opportunities in K through 12 service in your future? I think we talked about it a little bit, but really just the palette of the student. There's so much diversity in the millennials today, I think, in terms of what they want and what they expect. I know my daughter is a freshman at Michigan State and another daughter at Concordia, and they eat, I eat tuna and sushi, and you know, the days when we were in college and it was chicken tenders and fries, like I said earlier, it's very different. Talking to Michigan State, who's also another great customer, their diversity in what they're buying is so different than truckload quantity of tenders now because of the student palette. So I think We really feel a great solution is looking at Scoop, looking at product innovation trends, but we feel that in the next 5 years, that's gonna be significantly different for everybody at this table, is deriving menus that really support that, millennial palate. I think, you know, a lot of the things we talked about, I'm looking through this really kind of, recruiting members. I think that we talked about the MSBO, or really any type of, opportunities to, partner with you guys and solicit new membership. But the one thing that Martha and I really feel is effective that we do is open houses. You know, invite them with you to come into our building or come into a hotel like this and invite non-members today to tell our story. And we see it to be a collaborative approach with your presentation, our presentation, coming together with all the value adds and really recruit members to what, you know, this consortium could bring in that collaborative partnership. So we see those to be very effective, and I used that example recently with Adrian Dominican. We did that this past week in terms of just really looking at how we could really improve, you know, their you know, the menu and their support, and not necessarily recruiting, but when you have families and people that are there making decisions on how they're going to place their loved one in a community, involving them in food service committees and stuff too is really powerful. We talked about fill rates a little bit, I think, in terms of the expectation there. Business reviews that we would really do as a quarterly or as needed basis, as you guys would define. We really love bringing the group together. I mean, we did one with the Veterans Affair, they call it a visit to the Veteran Affair hospitals, bringing all their visit together in a team meeting, doing a business review collaboratively as a group, and then we exit and let them have our building and use it for their own agenda. So we're really big on bringing the consortium together as a group and really bringing value and reiterating opportunities to leverage the contract.
And we put our show on the road too, so don't think,
Sure.
you know, I mean, Michigan's a big state, right?
Mhm.
So, you know, it's good to get those neighboring, districts together, you know, and, talk to them. I think that's gonna be a big.
And I think that we talked a little bit about, you know, the bullets 24 and 25. I think that even though we were here today representing Premier, as Harold wasn't to be able to be here, you know, we feel both, you know, GPOs provide tremendous value. It's really determined as to what the consortium feels is the best opportunity for you guys. But obviously, being that we're a approved distributor for both, we have great partnerships with both, and you know, we think equally you should give them both your consideration, you know, in terms of the economic value and the overall opportunity. So, and then again, from a UP perspective, you know, I hope that we've left you with a sense of really partnering with you and understanding how we might service that area, and you know, really determining what's a best fit for those members. At the same time, focusing on how we can grow that membership for you, both in UP and as well as you know, the Michigan footprint that we service. So, but we really appreciate your time in allowing us to present, you know, both programs. And again, the flash drive that you guys have has all the presentations on them. And certainly Martha, Dick, and I are available anytime if you have any additional inquiries, you know, in our consideration. But is there anything else, Carrie, that we didn't get to in questions that
Well,
you?
I have a couple questions
Okay.
about the RFP itself.
Sure.
So on page 57 on storage fees, it says it's 25 cents a case after 120 days. But then on page 61 under storage fees, it says no storage fees will be charged so long as product is distributed before expiration date.
Well, now you know, the rulings charge on this, we don't usually charge storage fee because you have to get rid of it, now because of, you know how on the, reporting for the, consortium's inventory, it has on there what, the expiration date is. We don't ship out expired food, you know what I mean?
But you're
So-
saying there's conflicting information in the
There's
proposal?
conflicting information here, so I guess it just needs to be clarified.
Right, and then we help you,
There's no
manage-
storage fee, the expectation would be before the expiration date.
Okay, so
Right.
this should be 0.
And that is in the Premier response? Okay.
The other thing that I wanted to know was, how do you get expiration dates on brown box products that come in with no expiration date on them? There's no pack date, there's no expiration date, so how do you?
We've never, all stuff is usually, Julian coded or coded, we have to put something in our system. So if we know, if it's a canned good, let's say, and we usually can find the expiration date,
You got it.
or we go to the manufacturer. But if, let's say, it
how do we know that the company's not sending us product that's already 3 years old?
Not
Right,
even,
so
not even a stamp on the
sometimes we
can
won't-
with a Julian
We won't
kind of
accept
code?
it if you don't want us to, say we won't accept any product without a,
Well, that's a
Okay.
USDA thing, and I've been
Right,
following this since I
right.
started this job.
so we've had a, instance where Wawona Food sent it in and you put the Julian date in and they made up their own Julian date system and we made them send us their product sheet on it. Because
how
we
we'll
refuse
figure
to
it out.
load it, I think you guys heard that at a consortium meeting or whatever. But, that form was, Detroit Public Schools has always used that form and then we kinda made it better and then that was our form, the inventory form that we put on. And then we use the system in which they're asking the other distributors to do, not first in, first out, it's
Oldest
first, oldest inventory first out, because you're right, sometimes to get a whole truckload of peaches, they might be pulling from 2 different warehouses, and so we
Correct.
slot properly, so that it's slotted and, oldest goes out first.
But I would say that, I think that the rarity situations that we've had, our QA and inventory team, Terry does a great job of calling Martha and saying, hey, when in doubt, ask. Sometimes they inquire, we've had situations where, DPS has authorized us to kick the load or what have you, but we do make decisions on that